So this is my journal about motivation, and obviously through the years, my motivation and reason for doing what I do has likely changed. I began as a new graduate of technical school back in 1983, just needing a job, needing to be able to pay bills, had a wife, and so basic wages were, excuse me, near and dear to my heart at that time. But also, this company I began to work with was a very performance-based company. We got merit increases instead of cost of living increases. And so through the years, I learned that performance pays. And, of course, I feel like I would have performed anyway. But certainly that was a motivation to even be more of, or be the best performer that I could be. And so, of course, as the kids came along, that created some additional motivation. Those guys cost a lot of money to buy things for. And so you have motivation just to have shelter and food and provide for your kids. And but the fact that the company rewarded the motivation was, or the outcome of the motivation was certainly played a part on it. Now, as years went by, that motivation changed more into just being the image of who I am, being my. I can remember reading a sign when I saw that somebody in an apartment had, and it's just common sense. But if you want to keep, basically it said, if you want to keep your job, you'll be of greater value than your salary. And I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly what the sign said, but that's profound but simple. If you're more than paying for yourself by what you do, then you stand a far better chance of being kept on as an employee. So that kind of motivated me to do a good job as well. So the money's nice. I work for a very good, in fact, it's the U.S. leader of industrial automation for 27 years until that plant closed in 2010. And when I began teaching photovoltaic solar installation in 2010, I did so for a company that actually ended up occupying the same building that my former employer was in. In fact, we cohabitated for a few months. Ended up doing that for half the pay. So doing something that you want to do, and I had always wanted to be an instructor, was motivation for working for half the wages. And the timing was great. The kids were grown. They were out of our home. And my motivation at that point became being part of a startup, trying to satisfy my own requirements, my employer requirements, as far as what they wanted in solar training, and having to do that very, very rapidly. So that constituted the next year of my career, and lo and behold, an opportunity came up at the technical college where I'm at now. And it was pretty much the same pay. It was just a minor raise when I left, but it really put me what I wanted to do. I had so many mentors and had so many opportunities through the years, and I've always had a little bit of a calling to be an instructor, and this time I had the background and the experience that they were looking for, and the timing was just perfect, and I started that, and at that point, it's the respect part of it. It's what McClellan's theory of needs talks about as far as achievement and affiliation. I have been blessed to work for 3 great organizations. Now, they all had different weights in as far as their culture, but all 3 were generally great cultures, and especially the first and the last. The solar was a startup. It was a little more of a struggle, just as any startup company would be. But we still were very family-based and very not a lot of power struggles going on, more being a part of a big internal family. Same thing goes here, and so the affiliation side is huge. This college, although we're state employees, and there's not a lot of money to throw around in state budgets, but it's recognized as achievement, and it does that in various ways. And I've been very blessed to have been recognized for a few things through the years, but that's not my primary motivator. My motivator is my students. And of course, an additional motivation is I'm 10 years from retirement at this point. That's why I'm back in college at the age I am. I hope to finish up this semester. There's some opportunities coming up in our college. I've been told that somewhere around 2/3 of our current staff is going to be retiring, or at least eligible for retirement, in the next 3 to 5 years. So that has got me thinking about future prospects. There's part of that. There's the financial perspectives as far as earning more money to get more retirement. But then there's the downside of it, and that would be leaving my students if I do move up to a position where I'm no longer an instructor. So motivation comes in many forms. It has a lot to do, it seems like, with stages in life as well, and what your needs are in that respect. And it just kind of depends on where you are situationally sometimes. Not always. Of course, basic wages and being able to provide are key. I do love what I can do, what I do. But I certainly couldn't do it for free. But I'm blessed to be able to do something you love and get paid for it. And so I have never really struggled with motivation. I've seen employees that do, and usually there's some other calling or just a lack of intent on their part. I can remember when we were we had, I'm trying to remember the right word, but basically we were supposed to do a certain quantity of work every night. And part of my motivation was to beat my own record. And some of that stuff that we did early on as far as testing product was pretty mundane. But never really had a struggle with motivation, but I think you have to set your own goals and you have to have reasons to be doing what you're doing. And even if it is something mundane, I remind myself quite often, and good grief, it's already 7.5 minutes, I'm sorry, but I remind myself often that, this having to work 40 hours a week, having to do college, my motivation is that there will be an end to that. There's a reason for doing it, and, it is a sacrifice now, but my motivation is a long-term outcome. And that's one thing I think people can look at. So anyway, wrapping it up, this is my motivation journal. Thank you.